Hello, I'm going to talk about the three filmmakers who are sitting over here. I will introduce them, please. Uh, the film Galos, India 2021, English, it's approximately 24 minutes 38 seconds. The film is based on ethnographic study of a central Himalayan tribe, the Galos, which are one of the many ancient tribes of Arunachal Pradesh. It explores the society and culture of the tribe, including their knowledge, traditions that include ancient medicine and food habits. The director of the film is Mr. Apak Gadi, is an independent filmmaker and editor from Arunachal Pradesh. He completed his masters in journalism and communication. The other film, The Songs We Sing, The Drums We Beat, is also from India, 2021, English, Nocte 29 minutes. What happens when a community has to perform one of its most important traditions, but even the eldest among them are unsure of how to do it? Caught in this quagmire, the Kazakh community, a subgroup of Nocte tribe of Tirap district in northeast India, embarks on a journey of reliving their past while reflecting on their future as a distinct culture. The director, Kombong Darang, is an independent filmmaker from Arunachal Pradesh who was selected as one of the first film fellows for the Dharamshala International Film Festival 2014 for his film Walking with the City. His films include those songs and lullabies used to sing. The other films that we have is Colors of Love, Rangasari. Rangasari is a traditional tumri, a vocal genre or style of Indian music with its roots in Indian folk, symbolizing mischievous love and play with the beloved. This music video is an impressionist series of hand-painted animated paintings inspired by the Leela play of love of the Indian deity Krishna that showcases the many vibrant colors of first love and a visual celebration of the coming of age of a young girl. The director is Indrajit Natoji. Indrajit Natoji is a graduate from the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, specializing in film and graphic design. He is an award-winning director, writer, and producer and has run his own production house, Blink Pictures, for the last 22 years. He has also conceptualized and created two large film installations for the Indian Music Experience Museum of Indian Music in Bangalore. He has also exhibited his paintings in art galleries in Kolkata and Mumbai. He has also directed the feature films Aage Se Right and Aafat-e-Ishq. His other film, sorry about that. His other film, Nadam. Shruti, a young girl, wakes up disturbed and scared by the sounds of the night. Her mother comforts her by showing that every sound is a musical note. Made for the Indian Music Experience, India's first permanent interactive museum of Indian music, the film is designed to play in a 180-degree immersive circular projection, showcasing a vibrant glimpse into the beauty and diversity of the music of India. I will ask the directors of all these three films to talk about their own films, and later we can take any question answers. Thank you.
Very good afternoon. My name is Apagadi and I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, from a small village called Degom. I have my film is about ethnographical study of Galo tribe. the tribe which I'm belong to. तो मैंने ये जो फिल्म जो बनाया है, इस फिल्म में इतना कुछ मतलब ये एजुकेशनल टाइप की फिल्म है. एजुकेशनल जॉनरा आप इसको देख सकते हैं फिल्म को. आपको ये देखने को मिलेगा कि गालो ट्राइब, अरुणाचल में गालो ट्राइब द वन ऑफ द सिविलाइज ट्राइब जो है, वो रहते कैसे हैं, खान पान उनका कैसा है, और उनके लाइक कुछ टेबूज़ है. टेबूज़ को भी मैंने दिखाने की कोशिश किया है. जैसे कि हमारे यहाँ पे मेन स्ट्रीम प्लेन्स पे क्या होते हैं कि औरत जब पीरियड होते हैं उनके, तो गंदा माना जाता है, उसको मंदिर पे जाना गंदा माना. वो हमारे ट्राइबल सोसाइटी में मैंने अभी जस्ट रिसेंटली ये चीज़ देखने को मिला. तो वो चीज़ भी मैंने इस फिल्म में थोड़ा मतलब नेगेटिव ये पॉइंट में नहीं दिखाया. तो वो पार्ट भी है इस फिल्म में. तो गालों के बारे पता चलेगा आपको इस फिल्म में. थैंक यू.
Hello, my name is Kombong Darang, and I'm also from Arunachal Pradesh. Right now, I make films. Not very I'm not a very experienced filmmaker. I'm just learning, and right now I'm doing my PhD also in the Department of Mass Communication, Rajiv Gandhi University. So my film, the songs we sing, the drums we beat is about the culture. First of all, it's about the culture of one of the tribe in Arunachal Pradesh. It's called Nokte. And again, it's also about one of the language variety of Nokte community. See, Nokte have like 2-3 varieties they speak. Same tribe, but there's a difference in language. So this language is called Kasik, which is actually the language used in folk songs and all, like folk songs, lullabies and all, old songs. So it is not spoken by everyone. There's a general Nokte and there's Kasik. So there's only around 1,500 speakers now, speaking in 2-3 villages. So this film explores both these aspects of language and one of the most important culture of Nokte, that is installation of log drum. Log drum is a big wooden, like hollow wooden drum. So it is a kind of pride for the community. So whenever there's an emergency like fire accidents, and in early days there used to be war between communities, so they use these drums with different beats. There's a different meaning to it. So it's all about that. So I have luckily I would like to share one of my experience. I just got the information that installation will be done like the next day. So they called me ki we are installing the log drum, so please come. So it's from my place, it's like it's a 24 hours like journey. So then I decided, I spoke to my the colleague there ki I want to go, they are calling me. Then I took the bus and like ride whole night, and when I almost reach around the afternoon. So then luckily, like maybe I was lucky, or it was destined to be like that, ki they could not pull their log drum. So the whole day they tried, whole village, but they could not. So then they do this divination, like leaf divination and all. So then next day in the evening they also tried, but there was no result, ki what's happening. So then again next day in the morning they tried. Then they got the solution, ki they have to perform certain rituals. So which like nobody knows, because if you say log drum, it's installed in like if you install, it will last for like 100 years or more than 100 years. So nobody in the village have seen this that kind of tradition. So it explored those things. So yeah, and there is an interesting thing in Nokte community, that the place where they install, that's called male dormitory. So the place they installed, the girls are not allowed there. So but the chief, they have chief, it's like the panchayat leader or something. So they allowed the women to beat the drums. So I have some interviews I've conducted with the women. So they were like they are almost 40s, but like they have never entered into the geometry and never beaten the drums. So those kind of emotions are also there. So it will be screened on 2nd June. So maybe you can come and witness the film.
It's called the long drum.
Log drum.
Log drum.
Yeah, log drum. So it's like wooden drum, a big drum. So yeah, that's about the film. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Indrajit Natoji, and I'm very, very honored and privileged that not one but two of my films are selected for MIFF. And so I'll speak about Nadam, which is both the films are like passion projects and very close to my heart. And Nadam is an introductory film for Indian music experience. It's a permanent museum of Indian music in Bangalore. The museum itself is an interactive first of its kind, and is a permanent first of its kind museum in India, and you won't find that kind of space anywhere here. So my brief was to create an introduction to Indian music. Now how do I do this? Indian music is more than a millennia, and where do I start? I mean, so what I did was, when in doubt, go back to the basics and go back. So I went back to sound. Every sound, what you hear is a note. It's a musical note, like sa, pa, pa. And even a horn is a musical note. And Indian music is that. It's a series of, or music is that. It's a series of notes which makes a melody, which makes a composition, which makes a bigger sound, an orchestra, and it builds. You build. These are the fundamental blocks. So. And I have my daughter was 7 years old at that point in time, and she used to wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and maybe scared and with the sounds out of the night. And I took that idea into and created it's like a bedtime story. A mother comforting her child who wakes up in the middle of the night with the sounds of the night, an owl and a car or something. And she says, see, it's not every sound is a note. So she sings for her. Like, see, that's sa, re, ga, and these are, and then she takes her into a beautiful animated universe, a sound verse of Indian music, and we showcase the eclectic diversity of our music. It's from folk to film to disco to, we have everything in our. So that's the whole. So now the uniqueness of the film was that the format. It's like 6990 by 1200, which is like 1:6. Our regular film, TV is 1:4, or 4:3, and you have a cinemascope which is 1:2. This is 1:6, meaning the entire thing is projected on 100 feet screen in the theater, the introductory theater in the museum. So it's a film installation. So when people come in, you actually it's like an immersive experience, and the sound has been designed such that you can't take in the screen at one go. So therefore the sound cues in where to look. So and it pans, it travels, and so it was a tremendously challenging project, and we had no precedence. So we had to find our way through in terms of the technicalities, and so I opted for animation because it's something which I can create on my own rather than create. It's free, so it's I can take you anywhere with animation, and. And another very important thing was I could not cut in the film, meaning it is such a big format. I had to make it seamless. So it's like one set piece seamlessly moving to the other set piece, and the music also. And I also had there are other installations also I've done. You should go to Bangalore and just see it for yourself, because here the projection was not technically, it was squeezed here, so I was a little disappointed. But still, the impact is there. But you have to go to Bangalore to see it in this thing. The second film is completely a self-motivated, self-initiated project. Kavita Seth, who is a very, very popular singer, she's a Sufi singer, and she's of Iktara Frame, if you heard the song. And she and her son, Kanishk Seth, came up with this beautiful electronic infused Thumri folk it's and Rangi Sari is a traditional old Thumri song actually. It's a folk song. So that I fancy myself as an artist, and a lot of my, I mean, I essentially I'm a filmmaker. I make feature films and I make ad films. So this got me back to the roots of my art. Meaning I used to do. I'm from a National Institute of Design, so we do a lot of drawing, paint. From childhood I used to paint a lot, and so I was told that painting won't get you anywhere, and in terms of you may end up painting hoardings or something. But now, I mean, I could actually stitch my paintings into a film. I'm not a practicing animator. I'm actually a filmmaker. But this, I took on the challenge of painting. I created edits of dancers. I conceptualized the entire, reinterpreted visually the song as a young girl's coming of age of a young girl and her first love, inspired by Krishna's Leela of our play of love and mischief and the innocence of love, and in the innocence of a girl becoming a woman, and so all this is an excuse to just splatter paint on the canvas, are my favorite colors, and I created the male obvious symbolism of blue and fuchsia, pink, and how the pink is absorbed by the male, and the male absorbs, the female absorbs the blue. So it's the entire duality of gender, all, and this I dived into it spontaneously. It was not so much of thought, but whatever came spontaneously. So I went during my film production or shooting. I used to have this was a combination of hand drawn on paper and Procreate on iPad. So I used to keep doing these frames. So I ended up doing some 5,000, 6,000 paintings, which I stitched together into a video, and you can see it on YouTube also. And recently, one fantastic thing, I just was so surprised. It got some 10 million plus views, organic, meaning you don't buy the views, and it's just come over a period of 6 months or 8 months. So that was fantastic. So yeah, so these two are passion projects, very close to my heart, and I just it kind of made me whole again, because I was all over the place with advertising and earning my bread and butter. So yeah, so watch it on online.
We can go for any questions.
Any questions?
Does anybody have any question? Well, in that case, I have a question for Mr. Apak Gadi. Galos, why did you think of this particular subject? What was the reason? It could have been any other film.
Yes, thank you for your question. Most of my films are like, I'm more interested to make film mainly on culture, which like how do I say, like when I did my studies in University of Delhi. During my stay in Delhi, people, on daily basis we used to get racism sort of thing. People in planes, they don't know, they are not aware of like from where these people are from. Even if we tell them that we are Indians, they don't believe us.
And you
So-
don't know where is Arunachal
Yes,
Pradesh.
exactly.
They think you are foreigners.
Yes.
Yesterday only, when we were on leave, the guy came and he was asking us, "Are you from China?" Like that.
The same, yeah. It's such a
So
cliche.
this happens on everyday basis. So when I go back home, I always wanted to make a film which shows the world, especially my Indian brothers and sisters, that people like don't get confused with our facial features. We are also Indian, so I wanted my film to be screened so that people can at least get to know from where we belong to. That was the main reason.
Fantastic.
Good.
I can see that you have covered as much as possible about their culture. I mean, when you watch this film, you get to see, you have covered their food, their their dwellings and their
Housing pattern.
the work that they do, the dresses that they wear, the musical instruments also, and so many things you have covered. Did you face any challenges while making this film?
Um, the film was sponsored by government of Arunachal Pradesh, but this film was not given to me directly. A friend of mine, he got the project and he asked me to direct this film. So in there was a time constraint. I had to go to, like, Arunachal is not like the plain areas that you can travel around anytime. Like, it's hilly area, and yeah, I had to face a lot of challenges during the shoot of this making of this film, traveling and all.
These are the tribes, particular tribes that you're talking about. How did you, I mean, any filmmaker, when they make a film, if they bond with their subjects, it becomes much more easier to, make a film on them. Did you spend some time with them before you shot this film, or you directly went over there and started shooting?
एक्चुअली ये जो फिल्म जो बना है, दिस फिल्म इज़ बिलोंग टू माई ट्राइब दैट आई एम बिलोंग टू. तो मेरा उनका साथ रहना, खाना पीना वो रोज़ का है, तो इजी तो वो उस चीज़ में मेरे लिए इजी रह गया था. और सम ऑफ द क्लिप्स विच आई कैप्चर अर्लियर, वो भी थोड़ा काम में आया, तो वही, इट वाजंट दैट डिफिकल्ट.
So since you said you belong to the same tribe on which you have made a film about, is there something that you feel, I'm not talking about political or the thing, I'm talking more about socially, okay, there are things that you feel that should be preserved and should not be given up by the new youngsters?
I did get.
Are there any cultures or social things that you feel that your tribe should retain for much more longer time rather than give up in the modernity that is happening?
Yes, exactly. We have a society there who is doing all this stuff. Like, they are preserving. They are more into preserving our dialect, and they are experimenting with the new script for our Galo tribes to, like, most of the youngsters these days, they watch Korean films and European films, and they are more into Western world.
Inclined towards.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel that filmmakers, social activists, they should and the government should help them to, like, to preserve our
Heritage.
dying
Heritage.
Yeah, dying culture and.
Any questions for Mr. Apagadi? Well, there's a question for Mr. Kombong Darang. Now, I would like to know, okay, you said when you were talking just now that you happened to be invited over there, right?
Yes.
Not as a filmmaker, but as a guest.
No, as a filmmaker.
You were invited as a filmmaker. What was the reason they thought that you should be making this film and not anybody else?
Actually, it's a very long story. That's why I'll tell you. Actually, what happened is, like, in 2016, that UGC University Grant Commission, they have started a center. It's called Center for Endangered Languages. There are around 9 centers across India. So in Northeast, there's one in Sikkim, one in Tezpur University, and one in Rajiv Gandhi University. So I was inducted there as a documentation officer. So I do, we have, like, multidisciplinary like team, like some anthropologists, some linguists. We have linguists. Then I'm from media background, mass comm background. So I basically do the audiovisual part. So whenever we go, I interview people. I just short whatever like we get. So then we come up with like books. For them, we print books and we distribute them free of cost. And we come up with dictionaries. Then again, also film. That's my part. So I do everything. Like I go there, I manage the equipments, I shoot alone. Then I manage the script writer and I manage the editor, and I have to like look into those things. So during that process, so they in between that process, like when we were working on their language and culture, like writing books and dictionaries. So then suddenly it happens, like they call us, like every time they call, like if there's a festival now also, like they call me, like so I'm not from that tribe, but I have like I've spent with them like lots of time. So they are like family only. They call me, even they gave me a name. So I'm the youngest.
What is the name?
Youngest from my family. So whoever is youngest from the family, they call it Noli. It's called Noli. So if you go there and ask, you know Kombong, then no one will know. But if you ask like, you know Noli, then everyone will know. So that's the story. So yeah, that's why they call me. And every day, every like even like now, like if there's a festival, they invite us, but it's not for like possible for us to like every time we go and like celebrate the thing. So we have to do other things. And we were working on, like we have already worked on almost 4 or 5 communities in Arunachal Pradesh. So like basically we choose the minor communities, especially the language, which has like very few speakers. So yeah, that's how it. Yeah.
The you said कि the women are not allowed actually to be a part of this ritual festival or ritual. Um, uh, were you there when they decided that women will be allowed now? And
Yes, I was there. So even when the installation or the process was going on, the women were standing outside. They were looking from like the fence, like that those gaps and all. I have in the film also I have put 1 or 2 clips. So they are looking from like behind, so they cannot enter. So that's the culture there. But yeah, then the chief like decided because for the pulling of the log drum, everyone was involved, like the kids, the small kids. You should watch the film. So I think you will enjoy. So women's were there, all people were there, so they were all pulling together. So then the chief and village members, they decided at least for this time, because this is like once in a lifetime opportunity for the whole village, for the whole women and all. So they allow you can beat the drums for today, and you can enter the male dormitory. Then I think now they will not go. So it's the culture there. So
the log drum which is pulled, it is pulled at a slope, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
upper slope.
yeah.
Naturally, if the sync goes that they maintain, among everybody, if the sync goes, there will be a major accident, the chances of some accident happening. So, did anything happen during that time which.
Not really, because it's not like one person is holding up the drum. They tie big rope, can rope, and they like they took trees there like that. So so it was like, it was not like I don't think that there will be accident kind of thing, the way they have prepared, because yeah, like everyone was there, so I don't think.
So, did you make this film all by yourself, like you said, or
Yeah, I did the shooting alone. It was difficult because it was slope and I had to go up and down and
No
like
assistance.
no,
Wow.
like no assistance. So usually in this project I was like that only.
Okay, one man army.
Like you can say that, because we don't have fun.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
only have fun for me to like for like kind of monthly honorarium kind of.
so
they
how
give,
much you think that how within how much budget you people might have done this film?
They used to pay me monthly salary. Then we only get like travel allowances, like to the village and come back. Like if you for this shoot, I only like spend like around 20,000 only. I went, then I came back, and I don't expect the money and all, because we just made it for the community so that these things can be preserved. So it's like, so that's how. It's not like कि film के लिए ही they give fun and all. So it's like every like they give fun. From there we have to manage everything like books, dictionaries, like films, like that.
So does it become challenging
Hmm.
that within the given money that you have to do the whatever needful for
Hmm.
making the film?
Yeah.
So do you find it challenging?
Yes, obviously. For especially if you are into like filmmaking, like if you are your end needs comes from filmmaking, then obviously it's a challenge because um, there I was working as a kind of documentation officer who have to look after like photography, videography. So I have that. I already knew that, but like once I left the project, in future like obviously you cannot make a film even in like 5-10 legs, especially in places like Arunachal Pradesh. It's it's very difficult. Like you won't find any professional. It's very difficult. Like we have like filmmakers there, but documentaries there are very few. Like so that's challenging. Yeah, it's a challenge.
Since you are one man army most of the times when you make films, you must be carrying very light equipment, right? Because going
Yeah, equipment wise also, if you see our equipments, the camera we use for this film, it's like Canon 600D, which is crop lens on which no filmmaker use. Like, and I we use Handycam. There's a Sonica P7 Handycam. It's a small Handycam, which if you see the footage, you'll know. So yeah, that kind of equipments we were using, and there was a lapel mic we bought because every like for the whole budget for the project, so everything we bought, not like we bought computers, we bought like cameras, we bought like, so that's why like we have to manage with the cheap equipment and all. So I usually carry one tripod, one handycam and that DSLR without like extra lenses, that kit lens only, like 50 to
But that is the
100,000.
only way to make
Yeah,
documentary,
so-
real
yeah.
documentary to
So-
go to
yes,
see.
you have to be there.
Ah.
You have to be
And
there.
if-
Just now I saw two films, big large screen, you know that what is that called? Extra lenses and all that. I didn't enjoy it. That's not a documentary. That's a film. I feel so because we are attached to this organization for many years, so we are used to see all that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask both of you one question. You people have taken both in your films women oriented issues. Is it deliberate or is just a thoughtful mind?
In my case, I didn't like. It's just a clip where I just wanted to show the viewers the housing pattern of Galo society.
Yes.
There is a system like we have two stairs, one for male and one for female.
Oh.
That part only I have included in that film.
Yes.
So it's not like the whole film is about the woman.
It's not whole film.
Yeah, yeah.
I said women oriented issue,
Yes, yes.
not issues as I said issue. He also has
Yeah,
taken.
yeah.
Yeah, for me it's
It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, yes.
first of all it was a coincidence.
Okay.
Then secondly I could have avoided like for the controversy and all other thing. I could have avoided, but I wanted to put it because as if you see every culture, there are things which are good for the for the modern society. Even in our like culture, there are, I feel there are some tradition we could change, or we could like scrap, like even in like our Indian history also there are many things like which we call it taboo nowadays. So I think
That, yes.
that in that way I put it there.
How is
So
the
I-
society taken that way? That you are
what?
projecting these problems.
You as a filmmaker you cannot say directly. You have to give like technically put it there.
Technical.
So because if you
But
say
have
culture,
they
it's,
taken it positively or
that will depend on time, because if you cannot change the culture in like one go or by one film. So it's always evolving. So obviously the present generation, they will watch the film, then they might realize ki, and one day we might have like women in male dormitory sitting together, like eating together. So that's a long process. So I don't want to say ki, this is wrong, this is right, they should do it, but I wanted to put it because maybe after some time they will watch this film and they will realize ki, we should give them like the space in male dormitory and all. So yeah, in that way I put it.
And what about Apak? Apak, do you really think that the women should come in forefront the way you have projected?
Yes, exactly. My next film would be on that topic only. While making this the Galo film, when I was explaining the housing pattern of the Galo community, only that time I got to know that we have two stairs, one for male and one for female, and if female goes through the male stairs, then bad omen, like something bad will happen, something like that. So that thing struck me, and now my first and foremost thing when I go back home, I'll do research and make a film on women, and I want the viewers and all the civilized people to know that when you born out of your mother, why are you like वो बोलते हैं ना मंदिर पे मत जाओ, यहाँ पे भी मंदिर पे मत जाओ, और गंदा चीज़ें
Discrimination, सही बात।
नहीं करना चाहिए, उसके ऊपर मैं एक बनाना चाहता हूँ।
Nari Shakti Zindabad.
Can you tell about, like you said, you have a daughter and she one day woke up and
Yes.
she was crying. I found it very interesting, like the path has got, it's a musical instrument,
Yeah, the film is
and
screened.
then
This
your
film going to be
music, you
screened
showed it through,
sometime.
the
So can
dancers,
we-
different states you showed through their kind of music or their kind of dance and all kind of thing. What,
The film to be screened just now.
his film is going to be screened after some time. So
are they going to
we'll see
introduce you over there? They've called you to be introduced. You have to leave.
If
You are-
the questions are over, otherwise.
Yeah,
we can-
Mr. Apak, right? Mr. Apak has to leave because his film is going to be screened in one of the theaters for MIFF 2022. Thank you so much, Mr. Apak, for joining us. Others, we will continue with.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Manu, I'll also take your leave because I have to
Yes,
accompany him
please.
there.
So, Mr. Indrajit, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
So, did you find, like you, of course, it was again one man army or whatever. No, of course, animators have to be more.
No, this
and all
this
kind of
particular
thing.
thing had a team.
Okay, had
The
a
other
team.
one was-
Did you find again challenges in this film? Because though I know it is animation, it is much more in your control and all, but there might be some other things that might be going wrong, which you might have experienced,
Yeah.
and then had to find a solution for it. And
Mostly it was the challenge of the format. The format itself was for a 100 feet projection. So there was a lot of technical preparation that we had to do, because there were three things which are happening. One is the background world that we create, like you said, the sound garden. It's a garden with musical instrument as nature, because sound, the man first listened to the sounds of nature. So that's why we reinterpreted the sound garden as a garden of sound. And so like if you see the little stream is actually a tanpura. So those kind of creation of those worlds was very complex, because it had almost 150 layers of visuals. Then came the characters themselves. The characters I shot my daughter and my wife. The lady there is my wife actually, and I shot them, and then I took those frames and painted over them. So it's like artistic. We call it artistic rotoscopy. So that was another layer. So and how that layer, because they were against white screen, blue screen. So how interacting them with the background, that is also another challenge. And working in that format, like handling that huge files, massive files. You need a high-end computer which can process them. Sometimes you can't see the sequences. You have to render. Rendering sequences, small sequences takes a lot of time. Then after you render, you say nothing is working. Again, you go back. So those are the technical challenges. So we have to prepare ourselves a lot in terms of the concept and the story and then the worlds that we create. Yes.
What about your Rangi Sari, Colors of Love? I could make out that these are hand painted animation frames,
Yeah.
right? But I could make out that you seem to have used actual physical model before.
Yes. So there was an edit of dancers.
Yeah.
So choreographed dancers, which and I took those frames and I painted. I took them as references and I painted and completely abstracted them, and created paintings out of them and then stitched them together.
What are now India is going quite ahead in animation, like
Yes.
right? What do you feel? I mean, are you getting very good response all over the world because of the animation films that you're doing? Do you feel that India is really, pushing through? I mean, it is coming out at one of the top places where animation is concerned.
Yeah, see, it's a complicated answer. Yes, all over the world. I mean, these two films have been appreciated. In fact, all around the world, from Italy to Iran to, and we've received many awards from there, and it's lovely to be acknowledged in India here. But the problem, if I can say, with India is that the people, animation needs a lot of patronage and time. It's a very time consuming. You have to process. Like a film takes faster. Like I'm a filmmaker, I make feature films. It's much faster than animation. Animation can take 3 years to 10 years, to do a feature length. So that has to sustain a lot of people. There has to be a lot of so now that needs a lot of patronage and funding, and people have to survive. That film as such. So that producers or studios here don't see it as a viable quick turnaround in terms of the return on the investment. Whereas in out of India, animation is seen as a parallel form of filmmaking. It's another kind, and they have that's why they put in a lot of money, or they put in a lot of patronage, and things develop has much gone ahead. So we are still in a back end. We have tremendous skill. We have tremendous artists, tremendous animation skills, but somebody has to come and put those artists together and create a truly original Indian film. It has happened. There was Arjun, which was done by Disney, but it hasn't really. We need a lot of support. Animation needs a lot of support in India.
For how many years you have been doing animation work?
Actually, I'm not a practicing animation. These two are my first animation projects. I'm actually a filmmaker, and I just released my film Apateshk, where there was a fantasy sequence, and I used animation. So it's pretty much I'm a new in this field actually.
So why did you go into animation when you are not a regular? What was the reason that you got pulled into it?
I'm an artist. I started off being an artist, meaning painting and drawing. So I wanted to get back to my roots of painting and drawing. So I used this as an excuse to get back to animation.
Any other questions from anybody for both of them? On that note, I think I would like to thank Mr. Indrajit Natoji and Kombong, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Mr. Kombong, both Mr. Apak has already left. I'm so happy to had them here, to talk to them, and I got lots of enlightenment from them. I'm sure the audience also must have learned quite a lot from them, and please enjoy their films, please appreciate their films, because lots goes into filmmaking. On that note, we can end this thing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
you.
for all
Thank
the
you.
support and encouragement.